Hello, welcome to Rockfish Farm. Welcome to my vegetable garden. Today we are going to be planting up a winter garden and we're going to be putting it under row cover. It is pretty nice out here right now. The wind is starting to pick up. I'm hoping that you can hear me okay. I am Jennifer. I garden here in Zone 7B. I'm in Southern Virginia. I do raised bed gardening and I use the square foot style method to garden. So today we're planting up all vegetables that like cool weather. We are going to use a frost blanket here. This thing is permeable and sunlight gets through it, so we can leave it on, and then the nicer days, which we've had several of here lately, I'll probably come and take it off, but for the most part I'll probably just stay on. This is my first winter garden. Obviously, I want to be more self-sufficient through the winter time and have those fresh vegetables to bring in. So we're going to give this all a try and see what happens. So I have amended my bed here because, like most people, they've had a problem with potting soil and garden soil this past year or so. And so I've had the same issues here. And so what I did was I put some well-rotted manure in there probably late last fall, end of summer when this was done. I pulled my corn out and I just went ahead. Nothing in here thrived for the summer. It did okay, but it didn't thrive. So I'm anxious to see how this is going to go since that manure has been sitting in there. I'm also going to do a little bit of Biotone starter fertilizer in there. That is made by Espoma and I love it. I use it when I plant anything, whether it is a seed or a plant or a flower or a bush. I put that in the hole first and it helps to get those roots going and established. And it makes a huge difference. So I always use that. These raised beds and the row cover, it just came from Amazon. I think if I could do the row cover over again, I would get something a little bit sturdier because I'm seeing, I don't know why I got this one, but it is like just plastic hoops here. And I'm hoping it holds up. So obviously I want to bring vegetables into my kitchen, but also we get such hot temperatures so quickly in spring and early summer. So a lot of my spring stuff has never really done well. I don't know if I just get it in too late. So I'm excited to try this so that I can get an earlier start and just see, how this is going and then have that spring crop of like cilantro and arugula. For me, it just typically bolts very quickly. So let me tell you what I'm planting today. So first up, I've got 3 different herbs that I want to start. One is parsley and oregano and then a cilantro. So I have a single Italian flat leaf parsley. These flat leaf parsleys have a little bit more flavor than the curled leaf parsley that you see. These get to 15 to 18 inches tall, and we are going to be putting 4 of these in each square foot. Obviously, parsley is used in a ton of dishes, poultry, soups, stews, dressings, anything, you name it, you can use parsley for it. If you were in a frost-free location, you can actually plant this in the ground from fall through spring. The next thing I have is oregano, and this is actually a perennial in zones 5 through 10. I had one planted in my garden this past year, but we got down to 7 degrees. So I don't know if it really got it or not. So we'll see if that one comes back, but just in case it doesn't, I'm going to plant one of my spots here. We're going to do one of these per square foot, and obviously fish, pizza, dressings, poultry, stews, soups, anything. Oregano is a big one that I use all of the time. This one is a Greek oregano and it gets about 1 to 2 feet high. And then I have cilantro, and I love cilantro, and I never get any in the spring because it just gets so darn hot and it just always bolts. So I'm anxious to see what this does. But obvious reasons, Asian dishes, Mexican dishes, salsa, stuffings, marinades, sausage, you name it, this stuff can go in here. And you either love cilantro or you hate cilantro, and I love it. Also, if you're in a frost-free area, you can also plant this from fall through spring. This seed packet says 12 inches. I'm actually going to do, I think, 4 per square foot. Might never get huge. It might this time. I'm going to do 4 per square foot. Okay, we've got the Parade bunching onions. All of these are from Burpee. I think except for one is a Fairy Morse packet, but everything else that I have is from Burpee. I order a lot of my vegetable seeds from Burpee or Johnny Seeds. But these are the Parade bunching onions. These are the green spring onions, the ones that don't form bulbs. We can do 16 per square foot, and they take about 60 days to harvest. And again, if you're in a frost-free area, then you can plant from fall through spring. Then we're going to plant some arugula, which I love arugula. Again, one of those things that just bolts so quickly in the spring. I've got two types. I've got a garden tangy and a rocket arugula. So arugula, it has that nice peppery flavor to it. And I love serving that with, I've got two recipes that I love and I will share with you when this stuff comes up. It is a Parmesan crusted chicken and you top it with the arugula and like some Parmesan and some little bit of lemon juice. Oh, it's so good. And then a avocado toast with arugula on the top of it. Again, so amazing. This you can plant in February through May or August through October if you're in my zone. A lot of the backs of these packets will tell you exactly when you can plant it in your zone, or if you go to the website, you can read on there exactly when you can plant it. Lacinato kale or dinosaur kale. We're going to do 1 per square foot, and I think I'm only doing 1 or 2 squares of this just because I don't use kale a ton. You can sow this in spring or midsummer if you want a fall harvest. It takes about 60 to 80 days until harvest, and they've got really good flavor, especially when you pick them young. Again, in chicken dishes, kale, white beans, and chicken, so awesome. I will share that one with you too later this spring. And then soups and stews and things like that. You can add it in there for that great goodness. Swiss chard. This is Burpee's rhubarb chard, and it has these bright red stalks on them. And it is so good. I love just using this either in the soups and the stews, and then also just as a sauteed side with some oil and some butter and some Parmesan cheese and salt and pepper. And it is just so good alongside like a mashed potato and then your meat. The leaves on this thing are super sweet. We've got the Bloomsdale long-standing spinach. And these are a little bit of a spreading spinach. They get pretty large leaves on them. They've got a rich, nutty flavor. They're slow to bolt, and obviously they grow best in cool weather. You can plant them in early spring, again in the fall, or late summer for a fall harvest. Takes about 48 days to harvest. Obviously, we use this as a side dish, a salad. You can mix it in with your other greens. You can saute it. You can add it to soups and stews. It's just really, it goes with anything, I think. And then your Italian dishes, like stuffing manicottis, you can add it to your spinach. You can add it to your lasagnas. You can even blend it up in a little bit of spaghetti sauce, and your kids won't notice that they're eating extra green veggies. I've got 3 different types of lettuces here. Little Gem is a small romaine type. It has like a romaine type flavor to it. It likes the cool weather, and so again, here in my area, you can do February through May, and then you can also do August through October. Lettuces, if it's a head lettuce, which I am going to be doing one of those, you do 1 per square foot. Any other lettuces pretty much are 4 per square foot. I'm also doing a gourmet lettuce blend. It's got red colors and green colors. It's got oak leaves. Textures to it. It's got some ruffled textures to it, so lots of different kinds in there. I think it's like 5 different lettuces in there. It is a loose leaf type lettuce. Obviously, it likes the cool temperatures too, and it takes about 50 days to harvest. And then we're doing an iceberg type lettuce. I'm probably only going to plant 2 of those just because of the space it takes. You do 1 per square foot, and I can probably succession plant. If this does well, I may start up a second bed here in another couple weeks and just kind of get that rolling for spring too if it does well. So iceberg, again, likes the cool weather. It's nice and crisp. If you think the store ones are good, you need to grow your own because it is this unimaginable crispness that comes with it. They're so good. Again, in my area, you can plant them in March and April. And again, you can do July through August to get a fall crop too. And they take about 70 days till harvesting. And so the loose leaf type or the romaine type, you can actually pick from before it's fully at its harvest date. You can pick those baby leaves. But with an iceberg lettuce, you want to leave it there and form that head. And then, of course, my favorite, which used to never be my favorite, is peas. I'm doing the first 13 variety. These pea pods have 13 peas in them. It's unbelievable. I used to hate fresh peas. I used to hate peas in general. And then I tried these from our garden probably 2 seasons ago. This is one of my go-to pea varieties because it just does so well. It performs very well. And the flavor of these things, they are so good. I cook them and boil them in some water, add a little bit of butter in there and some salt and pepper. They are delicious, and I will not go without them ever again. Again, they like cool weather, so you can plant them in early spring and then late summer for your fall harvest as well. And then we're going to add a little color and a little fun we have some Moulin Rouge pansies. These get large 2.5-inch blooms on them with like ruffled petals. So you can plant these up for spring, and then you can also start a round of them for the fall as well because they like cooler temperatures. If you're going to start them indoors, you want to start them 12 weeks before your last frost. I'm just putting them out here. We're just going to see what happens here because I have this packet and I don't want to utilize my space inside. So I'm going to just go ahead and stick them on the end of the bed and hope we get a little fun color in there. Okay, let's go head over to this bed, and I'm going to show you my plan because I always draw it out on paper first so I know exactly what I put in each hole. So if something doesn't come up, then I can replant it. So in square foot gardening, you don't need to plant the big amount that it says on the packet and then come back and thin. You plant the ending amount, then you watch it and see what doesn't come up. You could stick another seed in the hole so you don't waste as much seed, and then you don't waste your time thinning out your plants. So I'm going to show you my plan here, and then we'll talk a little bit about the square foot gardening here, and then you can watch me plant it up. All right, so here is my plan that I'm going to go by. So when we talk about per square foot, it is how many plants you're putting in, and you can see in my garden here, I ran out of string, but I have marked out a lot of the square foots just like on my paper. So this is a 9x4 square foot bed. Square foot bed. And so when you're talking about the areas, you know, for like the onions, we can do 16 per square foot here. I'm going to get a total of 32 because I'm planting up 2 spots for that. Peas, I'm doing 8 spots, and we can do 9 peas per square foot. Pansies, I think I'm going to do pretty heavy. I have it written down. We'll see what we're going to do. I want to do several per square foot because I want it to be like this full chunky color over here. I think I've got 35 seeds, so I think I'm just going to kind of spread those out there. Things like kale and Swiss chard, you're going to do 1 per square foot. So you have to kind of think about first, how many of these things do you want to get, you know, within your season? Same goes for your summer garden. You know, how many beans do you want? How many pounds of beans? How many plants do you need to be able to get that amount? And then equivalent that to how many spots you need to plant up. So like our head lettuce, we're just doing 2 head lettuces there, so 1 per square foot. And then of course things like cilantro, 9 per square foot. So this is what I'm going to be doing. So here's an example if you're looking at each per square foot. If you're doing 1, you're going to do it right in the center so it has ample room to grow within that square foot. 2, you're going to space it like that. 3, and then here is 9, and then 16. All right, I am just going to follow my plan and start planting and then get this thing covered up with a row cover. Well, that's it for today's video. So you did see me put a couple extra seeds in the holes, and that is because my seeds are a little old, so I wanted to just make sure that we got it out here. I'll thin if I need to. In the summertime, when I've got some good fresh seeds, then I don't do that. I do the minimum number of seeds I can per holes. I will keep you updated on this as our season progresses. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.